Today I'm going to give you an A to Z guide on how to launch profitable ads. Whether you're currently running ads or not right now, this is going to be a video going over again A to Z, everything that you need to know to run ads on Meta profitably. So again, even if you have no experience whatsoever running ads, we're going to cover everything you need to know. Even if you have a limited or small budget, you're going to know how to scale a small budget and what to do and how to approach the ad account. And even if you're running ads now and you're not getting them to scale, you're going to find a lot of tips in here that's going to help you reset everything, CRO things, and just run profitable ads. So without further ado, let's dive right into the training. So my whole goal today is very simple with this video. I want to give you a copy and paste blueprint that you can use to launch and scale winning ad campaigns consistently. And to help you do that, I need you to avoid three crucial mistakes. First is having a fragmented ad system that has leaks at different stages. Second is not properly warming up prospects before sales calls or challenges if you're running a challenge funnel, or webinars if you're running webinar funnels, so you have like low show rates to your webinars and challenges. This will fix that as well. And third is not knowing how to scale ads with little time, effort, money, and energy. So we're going to talk about all these things here and go very in depth. So real quick, a little bit about me, because we're going to be talking here together for about an hour. So let me just show you that I know my stuff. I've been advertising for 6+ years. I work with multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses. I've generated over $45 million in client revenue through ads. We've launched over 400 funnels, have had multiple 7-figure funnels and multiple 7-figure awards. And we've launched ads in well over 50 niches and growing. So worked with a ton of companies, massive companies, all household names in their respective industries. So we know what we're doing, and that's enough about me. So again, and today I'm literally gonna give you everything you need to know on how to launch and scale ads on your own. And you're gonna be able to walk away from this here again with a full blueprint on how to run profitable ads. So let's get right into it. Mistake number one, like I mentioned, is having or building currently a fragmented ad system. So to make ads work, you have to have a complete end-to-end system with zero leaks. I know a lot of people market that. You have to have a complete end-to-end system, but we're actually gonna break down what the heck that is and what that means for you. So not talking about some cobbled together ad funnel using a bunch of random ClickFunnels templates and freelancers and stuff like that. You tried this ChatGPT hack for an ad script and tried this static here, and it's all just like scattered about. Okay, we're not talking about that. So like, what makes a system actually complete? It's really these 5 components when you break it down. So first is having a cold traffic optimized offer. Second is having contextual ad creatives. Third is having the right funnel and conversion mechanism that really pairs well with your offer and your target audience. Fourth are some sales process optimizations that every single funnel, regardless if you're running a webinar funnel, call funnel, challenge funnel, you need to have these. And fifth is just the overall media buying strategy and what to press inside of the ads manager, how to structure the ad account, how to structure campaigns, all that fun stuff. So, and let me show you what happens when you have a complete system. So you're gonna end up like our client Mazen here at GoFunnels, pretty dang quick. He's literally said he's overwhelmed with calls, and that was his calendar. So pretty crazy. And this was before, right? It was very fragmented. He was launching different things, different offers, all this stuff. And you had like $1,200 here for a call, $1,200 here, $800 here. He had like one thing where he cracked it a little bit. It was like $263 and it barely got any spend and all this stuff. Like a total mess, right? And then afterwards, consolidation, went back to the basics, launched a campaign. He got $38. And yes, this went through Typeform, Calendly combo. These are MQLs. And I know, for those of you out there, I know Meta does not report things 100% accurately. So when I took this screenshot, it was 143 qualified calls that were booked on in. These are MQLs, 143. We were at a 7.3x ROAS on cash collected. So cash collected in a 30-day period. Cash collected up front, not LTV ROAS or contract value ROAS. By the way, this screenshot was taken on June 9th. This campaign ran until the end of August, and we got about 500 calls booked. The link down in the description below will take you over to our landing page where you can see all the proof on this right there in the full campaign breakdown if you really want to. But again, 500 calls booked. It was an average at about $70 per call when it was all said and done. And then we're continuously still scaling with them, spinning up some new creatives. But anyways, it crushes when you have a complete ad system. So we simply created a complete end-to-end system for him that had no leaks in it. So we did that by combining all of these components together. So let's break down each component and how you can build your own complete ad system today. So first component is having a cold traffic optimized offer. So here's what most people do is they build a business, a product or a service or offer first, and then try to make it work with ads, okay? That is backwards. So you should make your life easy with ads by building a front-end attraction offer that converts with cold traffic, i.e. people who have no idea who the heck you are, okay? And that's what you run ads to. Then you can upsell people on the back end to your core offer. And sometimes your core offer is your front-end attraction offer. Not saying it's all the time, but sometimes it is. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're going through this. And no, I'm not saying like to go run a low ticket ascension. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm really saying you have to make a push button easy offer on the front end, one that has many of these next things that I'm gonna go over stacked in your favor as possible. So first, to have an actual cold traffic optimized offer, it should be low risk to the prospect. It should have low time investment and energy that needs to be committed from the prospect as well. It actually should make the prospect and you money, because some people will run offers on the front end that make them literally no money. And especially a lot of these like bootstrap SaaS companies that I see, like they have this thing where they're like, yeah, we're just gonna run ads on like a low spend because we have like a 7-8 month payback period and stuff. And it's like, there are ways to make it work to where you actually make money up front. So like we personally like running offers and creating offers on the front end that actually make money so you can put it back into ads and scale quicker. So keep that in mind. The next part of a cold traffic optimized offer is, it plays into big headlines in the world or your industry as well. So like something right now, AI. Something also in the niche that we sell to, which is like the info products and B2B space, is having low show rates, right? So fixing a low show rate problem for your industry is something that goes kind of with the big headline in the macro of what the entire market is essentially experiencing and thinking about, right? And again, AI, you've seen a lot of these people just like weave in AI to their offer and it freaking rips. So it's a hot thing. So if you can kind of weave that in a tasteful way to your offer, it could really help. And the next thing is it's directed towards a market that isn't saturated with your same offer or service. So again, you're not just saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. You're positioned differently and you ideally have a new, fresh offer that can break through the noise of a competitive industry. And another thing is it's an offer that in itself is not saturated and also not necessarily overall saturated, but not really saturated in ads. Like we have a couple of people that are scaling through cold email, and look, there's a lot of people that do outbound marketing in cold email, a ton of them, right? But not a lot of them run ads. So it's not really saturated on that platform. And also the cold traffic front end offers that we run for these cold email companies is positioned differently. It's more of a sprint offer and it's not just like a rate into retainer type thing. It's low risk, low time investment and energy for the actual prospect. It actually makes our clients money because we get a big piff up front, like 10 to 15K, so they can funnel that back into ads. And of course, it's an outbound offer with a clear expectation and result for the prospect, which I love to have for cold traffic offers, and that makes them money as well. So it has a lot of these different things stacked in its favor. It's not just a generic cold email and outbound offer. And then finally, another key component of having a cold traffic optimized offer is having a defined time frame for results. So we will get you X and Y time frame. And here's the thing, most of the time you unfortunately can't sell what you want with ads. The market's gonna tell you what you want, and you're gonna have to test sometimes a bunch of different front-end offers to see what works. But you have to sell, again, what the market wants and what makes money by engineering an attractive front-end offer to run ads to that converts with cold prospects. For example, right? Russell Brunson wanted to just sell ClickFunnels subscriptions through ads, right? But guess what? When he first started ClickFunnels, people were not in the market for a landing page software. So the ads would be incredibly tough to scale profitably. Plus, at that time, it was a $99 a month product. So in his case, to make ads work, he had to keep customers for 3 to 5 months just to break even, assuming a reasonable acquisition cost of $300 to $500. That might even be on like, kind of the higher end and stuff, but you see how like the math doesn't really just math there, right? So what did he do instead of playing the hard game? Well, he took advantage of what the market wanted at that time and what the hot thing was, starting an online business. So he ran ads to challenges and products that help people start online businesses using his software ClickFunnels. Like, hey, you can start this online business. You're gonna need to make a landing page and a funnel to sell this product that you wanna sell, this info product, this course and stuff, this coaching program, this mentorship. So you need ClickFunnels because it's like the engine to do that. So you see how he took what the market actually wanted and marketed that and then funneled into his core offer after that. So he was like, hey, these people all want to start an online business. They don't want a landing page software. So we're going to get them in on this front end offer. Then we're going to sell them what we want on the back end. And of course, he's making money selling tickets to those challenges and these different mentorship programs that he did on the front end too. So he's using info and like coaching to liquidate on the front end, and then the back end, he was selling into his software, which is why they were able to invest back into the product, invest back into ads, and scale quickly. And again, he priced the challenges and the different things he ran offers to on the front end, so his front end offer, at levels where it was actually profitable on the front end for him. He sold something that was attractive through ads, hot, low risk, and profitable on the front end, and then funneled people into his core offer. The same thing goes for you if you sell high ticket services. Let's use our client Mazen, who I just went over, as an example. So at first, he wanted to sell people into a recurring service for their automations and funnel building service. And the problem with that was it was way too risky for someone who just doesn't know you to sign on to it. It also had no like clear expectation of a time frame, no clear expectation of a return, no like dream outcome or end result. It was just like, hey, we're gonna give you this thing, trust us, right? Nothing really like attractive on the front end, nothing that screamed low risk, clear outcome, none of that stuff. And it did not play into also any hot topic or what was trending at all. So it simply was just not attractive enough to cold audiences. That's why it was not working initially. So what did we do? We changed the front end offer and made it cold traffic optimized. So we made it a one-time payment. I love weaving in those one-time payment, done for you, sprint offer, setup offer. Love those things on cold traffic. It works super well. So again, we made it a one-time payment and made that very clear in the funnel. We gave a clear payoff and time frame of a 90-day engagement, and we also tied a clear result to it. So we said, hey, we're gonna get you double what you paid us in the next 90 days by optimizing your entire GHL and your funnel. And then we also wove in AI elements into the copy, which again was a hot topic right now and at that time as well. So the offer you use with ads should scream low risk to the prospect, clear as day outcome. You're solving some sort of problem that they actually give a fuck about, okay? That is key. Low client intensity and a high payoff for the client. That's really what you want here. Again, you should be solving something that they actually care about and that is ideally revenue driven or a big pain point for them. If it's B2C, it's a big pain point for the prospect in their life or some sort of emotional appeal to them. You know, if it's B2B, usually it's like revenue attached or something revenue driven. So after you get people onto the intro offer, you can ascend them into your core offer from there. And the people that come from your ads and don't close on your intro or front end offer, you can remarket your core offer to them via email and setters if you wish. Plus, on some sales calls, by the way, you can simply sell people on your core offer anyways, not the intro offer or the front end offer, if it's a fit right then and there. Keep that in mind. Your front end attraction offer can be swapped around a bunch and positioned differently to test different audience as well. So if you want to go more upmarket or reach a different segment of your audience, you can actually try to just spin up a different positioning of that offer or even a different front end offer entirely. So for example, we're an ad agency. So we help a lot of people with like their creatives. We help a lot of people with their funnel. We help a lot of people fix their show rates. We help a lot of people just warm up traffic before sales calls. So there's a lot of different things that we do, and I can position little pocket offers, I call them, to reach different people and different audiences. So I can make some ads around a different little pocket offer saying, hey, we're gonna help fix your show rates. That's gonna reach a specific audience that is dealing with show rates in my niche. Then I can have some other one where it's, hey, we're gonna optimize your funnel because you have low funnel conversion rates and stuff like that. So I'm gonna make a little pocket offer for that, a little front end attraction offer, fixing people's funnel conversion rates. And then that will reach a different type of person in my overall demographic and audience that I'm trying to reach. Then you could also do that for creatives. Your creatives aren't performing. We're gonna come in and we're gonna fix up your creatives. That's gonna reach a different audience segment with a different problem with that pocket offer. So you can see how you can also like take all the stuff that you do. Like our offer essentially is we just make paid ads work for companies. But I can just break out pieces of it, pieces of my offer, and run them as little pocket front end offers to reach different pockets of people as well. And of course, the ads themselves will correlate with that front end offer. So again, your Your front end attraction offer can be swapped around and positioned differently to test different audiences. Great, great tactic. And your front end offer should be attractive, by the way, and get people on the phone. That's the whole key here. So it needs to resonate with your target audience, meaning actually speak to some sort of pain point or desire they have and really promise some sort of outcome that they want. It should pull them in. It should solve a specific problem that they are dealing with. And again, be actually something they want. I say this all the time, but it should be actually something your target market wants. If you can nail the offer and the creative, which we're going to go over next, everything else is easier. Trust me on that. The creative is component number 2. Most people make trash looking ads and just trash ads that have really bad messaging, and then they wonder why they get bad leads. It's like because you're speaking to poor people, you're speaking to people that are not in your target audience. That is a big problem. So we're going to talk about how to fix that here. Most people's ads suck because, what are you traditionally taught to do? You're traditionally taught to call out your audience, explain the offer, and give a CTA. So all your ads sound like generic slop, like coaches, agencies, consultants, I will help you add 10K per month in 30 days so you don't pay. That garbage, right? This only attracts dumpster diving leads at best, blends you in with everyone else, and doesn't show the prospects that you legitimately understand their problems. That's why we do things differently when we make ads. So especially nowadays with the Meta Andromeda update, we have to do things a lot different if you don't know, the Meta Andromeda update requires you to focus on creative diversity in your ad account. And by the way, I have a full Meta Andromeda training video on this channel as well. It's going to pop up somewhere around here, so make sure to check that out because it goes into extreme depth on the update, what it is, how to succeed with it, but we're still going to talk about it a little bit here so you have some context and know what to do. But basically with the Andromeda update, again, it's focusing on creative diversity inside of your ad account. So what this means is when you script ads, you have to feed Meta with a higher volume of creatives and creatives that are all unique, individualized, diverse ads. So not hook and body variations. We're not doing that stuff anymore where it's just 10 hooks spliced onto one body. That does not work. You need to have differentiated, diverse creatives that are all individualized ads inside of your account. You cannot have similar creatives. Meta right now is literally punishing you for having similar creatives in your account. They're actually rolling out a feature that you'll be able to see a report inside of your ad account that tells if your creatives are too similar to each other. So you will be penalized if your creatives are too similar and not diverse. So Andromeda now requires you to film full-fledged individualized ads that are all persona driven. And we're gonna get into what that means in a sec. So each ad now under Andromeda, so each creative you make needs to be focused on a different pain point your target audience has, a different desire that they have, a different real-time scenario or circumstance that they are experiencing right now, a different case study articulation that applies to them, a different outcome that they want, and a different promise that you're making them. So it's all focused around different things that your target audience is dealing with, wants, desires, or is struggling with. That is the key thing. So when we create ads here, this is what we do. Let's say we sell an all-natural organic protein powder, okay? We are selling an all-natural organic protein powder. Let's list all of the reasons why somebody should do business with us, all the reasons why somebody should buy our protein powder, okay? So let's think about all the things the prospect might want and might resonate with the prospect that would buy our stuff. So first, maybe it's organic and they want organic protein powder. Maybe some people really like that it has clean ingredients and they value that in their protein powder. Maybe some people hate clumping and this one doesn't clump, like when your protein powder kind of clumps up. Maybe they care about high absorption rates with their protein powder. So maybe you got some third-party data that shows, hey, our absorption rates are really, really solid. And some people will resonate with that. And that might be a reason why that gets somebody to buy your protein powder. Maybe some people care big celebrities use it. Maybe some people care that the protein powder tastes good. Others want it because it's convenient and they could buy it at a local store near them. Others are budget conscious and maybe this gives you like fantastic value for the money, or you portray that it does in your ad. Maybe this protein powder helps them stay full longer so they don't have like cravings, and then maybe people like it because it kills cravings. Another thing is maybe it's got collagen in it so it helps your skin. Maybe it's low calorie, or could be high calorie if it's a mass gainer. Maybe they're tired of protein bars, so they want to switch over to this protein powder. Maybe they're also tired of cooking high protein meals and planning them out. Maybe the people that want to buy our protein powder are busy people and just want to hit their macros easily with something that fits into their routine. Maybe you got creatine in that protein powder too. That'd be pretty dope. Maybe it's all natural and has a bunch of beef organs. I actually have this protein powder. Maybe it's made from all natural ingredients and never touches a lab whatsoever. That could be another thing, like an ad angle that says, yeah, it doesn't touch a lab ever. This is all made naturally by hand. Maybe it's been third-party tested again on absorption levels into the body. Maybe it's got low sugar, tastes great with water, tastes great with milk. Maybe it can be a meal replacement. Maybe it can arrive in 2 days because it's all US made. Whew. No, nothing made overseas. Maybe there's no fillers or gums in it, no seed oils in it, no artificial flavors in it. All third-party tested for cleanliness of ingredients, and you have the report you can show in an ad. Maybe it's very nutrient dense. Maybe it can be blended into smoothies easier, supports energy levels, no midday crashes if you have these in the morning. Maybe it helps overall wellness. Maybe it's awesome for hardcore athletes. Maybe it's for everyday people who just work out to stay fit, kind of like the weekend warriors. Or look, you can make ads that apply to hardcore athletes. Maybe you can make some ads that say, you know, this protein powder is great for just everyday people who want to stay fit. Maybe it's great for leisure athletes. You know, it could be like all three of these. You know, maybe it's got no yellow 5 in it, no blue 5 or whatever, you know, red 40. I don't know any of those things, but that stuff. Maybe it can be mixed into like baking recipes to add variation. So this would be a cool ad. Maybe you can even show an ad that visually shows someone is using it in a recipe, like a TikTok style recipe showcase ad or something. Maybe it's got some added colostrum for gut health. Maybe it doesn't give you that like bloated feeling after you kind of drink the protein powder. Maybe it's got no microplastics whatsoever in it, right? So that was just 41 different reasons why somebody should buy our protein powder. A bunch of different outcomes we talked about and listed out, bunch of different pain points people have we articulated, bunch of different desires, bunch of like case study led things like those third-party studies. We talked about how it applies to different types of people like athletes, leisure athletes, everyday people, people that have 9-to-5s, people that are trying to lose weight, maybe gain weight. That was 41 different ideas and themes that all will reach a different type of person and resonate with a different type of person. Each is its own ad that you script out. Each one of these reasons here is an individual ad that you go and script out. So you make an ad centered around this theme here, then this theme here, then this theme here, then this theme here, then this theme here. Each theme and angle gets its own ad. And by own ad, I mean literally its own full ad. So you script out an individual hook, body, and CTA for each one of these things. So I would make a hook, body, and CTA talking about how this protein powder can be blended into smoothies easily. Then I do another hook, body, and CTA for how it can support energy levels. Then I do another hook, body, and CTA for how you can have no midday crash when you buy this protein powder. Then I do another hook, body, and CTA for how this protein powder helps overall wellness. Get it? Hook, body, CTA for every single theme that you can basically list. So every reason why somebody should buy your product or service, you need to list out and make an individual ad for it. That is what you are going to do to comply with Andromeda. Andromeda looks for creative diversity. That means diverse themes, visuals, and messaging in your ads. It looks for that inside of your ad accounts. It doesn't want similar messaging, similar ad ideas, similar themes, and similar visuals. It does not want you to make just small variations of the same thing over and over and over again. Basically, the Andromeda update is a massive improvement to the retrieval process in the algorithm on Meta. So basically, all you got to know with that is what the retrieval process does and Andromeda does essentially is it looks at all the tens of thousands of ads that are given to it at a continuous basis by different advertisers on its platform, and then it compiles those down into just a couple thousand, and it pairs up those couple thousand with the right people that are most probable to convert based upon our campaign objective and also the messaging, themes, and visuals in our ad, okay? So it looks at all those things and pairs that ad up with somebody who's most probable to convert at that given time. That's all it is. So if none of that made sense to you, the only thing that you need to know right now is you need to do that exercise. So you just essentially sit down, write out who you're selling to. So if you sell to multiple different types of people or want to sell to multiple different types of people, write those out and then write down all the reasons why they should buy your thing. So all the different pain points they have, desires they have, real-time circumstances that they're experiencing, the outcomes they want, different things that you've done in the past, like case studies that could apply to them. All these different things, you list them out and then you film an individual ad for each of those. And by listing out a ton of reasons and formulating these into ads and running them, we will reach different audiences and different people specifically under Andromeda. Articulating these different reasons, pains, desires, struggles, Andromeda will be able to sort through these ads and serve them to users that want and are dealing with these things in real time. So we just have to trust the algorithm, okay? We just have to give it a lot of different reasons why somebody should buy our product or service, and you're gonna do super, super well. So this is why it's necessary to feed the algorithm with a bunch of ads like this to give Meta and Andromeda more to work with to achieve smooth scale. So it might have sounded like I just went in circles a couple times, but I hope I did that first off intentionally, and I hope that it just drills into your head that you need to have diverse creatives and do this exercise before you actually script out ads. And to come up with more ideas for your product or service, here's something you can do. You can just ask your customers why they bought your thing. You could also run your call transcripts through an LLM like Manus to pull reasons why they purchased or booked a call, what problems prospects have, what desires they had, etc. And the more calls from varying types of people, the better. So in these themes and ad angles, again, are all pain points, scenarios, and desires that your prospects have right now in real time, what they are experiencing right now. It's very hyper contextual, okay? Keyword is real time. We want to speak in real time context to what our prospects are experiencing right now. And to make the viewer of your ad feel like you are stalking them through their phone, listening to their thoughts, and spying on their conversations. That's what we want to feel. We call those like stalker hooks, right? So they're ones that you're like scrolling through your phone, you're like, I literally just said that out loud. Is Meta spying on me? That's what we want. We want hyper-contextual ads. Those scale, not generic messaging. And you will get crushed if you have similar visuals, themes, and messaging in all your ads under Andromeda, so do not be lazy. That's why I took a while on this section, because it's super freaking important. This and the offer, super freaking important. More than the media buying structure. So make sure to rewatch this again and again. I literally went in circles multiple times to drill into your head why it's so important. You have to follow this. This is from Meta too right here. So creative diversification. You can pause this and read it. It's going to give you an overview of, again, what creative diversification is, but basically just refers to the practice of creating a wide range of ad creatives with different themes, messages, and visuals to cater to diverse audience segments, okay? This approach acknowledges that advertising is not a one-size-fits-all and that a more nuanced and varied creative approach is needed to effectively engage with customers. There we go. They also tell you down here to just load up your ad sets with a bunch of creatives and let them do the targeting essentially. So the creative does the targeting nowadays, and basically what you say in the ads is what's going to determine who you reach. That's why we write out all the individual reasons why somebody should buy our thing, and we just speak those in the ads, because the messaging with those specific reasons will pair up somebody who's going to resonate with those specific reasons on the other side of the screen. Got it? Perfect. So, and this is the framework we follow, by the way, when we write ads. So whenever we have all those individualized reasons, this is what we follow. Very simple. Hook, body, CTA. So the hook is the articulation of the pain point, the problem, or the desire that's tying back to that actual scenario that we're articulating. We want to build curiosity sometimes, build up some intrigue, and just overall grab attention, okay? So we just articulate the problem, pain point, or desire, and then we want to build up some curiosity sometimes, try out some like those curious hooks, intrigue, and just grab their attention, okay? Now in the body, we want to do an explanation of why they're in this situation. So show them, that you understand their problem. Then we want to offer up the solution. We want to tell them what they will achieve or experience. So like the money, emotions, status, etc. If they use your solution, add in some credibility if you got it. So like social proof if you have it, articulate a couple case studies real fast to support why your solution works. And then also just like use storytelling in some ads to create more curiosity. So per theme, you could have like a direct ad and then also one that has like more curiosity, more like storytelling in it. So just like test things out. And also just the CTA, simply tell them what to do next, right? Just sell the click. and be very clear about it, right? Say, right, if they're going to a page in which they can watch a video to learn more about the offer, then fill out an application to schedule a call, like literally tell them to do that. Just tell them, hey, click the learn more button down below. You're gonna go to a page that has a whole video presentation that's a couple minutes long, breaks down everything about our offer in detail. And then after that, if you feel compelled to and you think it's a good fit for you and you want to learn more, you can fill out a quick application below that video, then schedule a call with myself or someone from my team so we can go over everything in more detail. Click below, I'll see you there. Just very like direct CTA, tell them what to do, make sure that they don't get lost in the process and have a through line. But again, each ad should be super clear. And also keep this in mind when you're writing individualized ads, okay? Or just any like copy in general. You cannot mix messaging with your marketing. A consumer can barely handle one idea per ad, let alone two or more than that. So each ad should have a single message point. It should have a single message that is expressed clearly, a through line. One clear idea per ad wins. You want to appeal to a specific need, want, desire, or pain point per ad, okay? That's what we're trying to do. So each one of those reasons we listed out, that's going to be an individualized ad, one through line, one messaging point, one topic, one theme per ad. And plus, another thing too is your ads have to pretty much like feel like and look like organic content on the respective platform you're running it on too. So it needs to also just grab attention, create curiosity, and just be weird sometime. Like use visual hooks, use trends that you see working on social media organically, use verbal hooks, use weird storytelling, get creative with your copywriting, just actually make good ads. If you make freaking good ads that grab attention and really speak to your target audience and the people you want to reach, you will get good ad results. I promise you, every ad that smashes for us, every ad for any client account has a sick freaking visual. It fucking hits visually. It just works, okay? It's got a visual hook. It's got great dialed in copywriting. It's a specific message. It's clear, it grabs attention, holds attention, clearly tells people what to do. It hits on a pain point that people are experiencing in real time. That is what makes a difference. Make good ads. If you make good ads, doesn't matter what freaking media buying structure you run, it just works if you have good ads. So just make good ads. Focus on that, right? Like which is more interesting out of these two things? So if you had an ad that was like, want to start improving your health? This salt lamp will boost your energy, mood, mental clarity when you have it by your desk all day long. Or this soft lamp was mined by hand from the Himalayan mountains and was actually proven by over 8 documented scientific studies to boost energy, mood, and mental clarity, all by literally just flicking on a switch. Let me prove it to you. So be weird with your copywriting and just use visual props, aids, all this stuff like that, and just make ads that grab attention and really convert well. So also make sure that the environment in which you film your ads matches and resonates with who you're selling to. So if you're selling to roofers, for example, look like a roofer, okay? Wear the hat, get the polo shirt, film at a house, on a roof, at a construction site, with a work truck in the background. Yes, it's going to take more work and planning. You're gonna have to block a day out to film ads. You might have to go reach out to construction companies, say, hey, can I just like chill at one of your sites or just like outside of the house or something like that that you're installing a roof on? Yes, you're gonna have to do that. You might have to go rent a freaking pickup truck for a day, buy a collared shirt and a hat with your logo on the shirt. You know, like every roofer has that look, right? And then go outside of a Home Depot and film an ad. You might have to do that. Guess what? Why am I saying that? Because we had a client do that. He was selling Google ads to roofers and he was first filming ads in a studio like this where he looked like an info marketer. He looked like every single other agency owner that like ripped them off in the ad. So all I had him do was take his sick Chevy truck that he had, go in front of a Home Depot, get his hat on, get his polo shirt on that looked like every other contractor's polo shirt, and just filmed with his truck in the background. And it ripped because it resonated with his target audience and grabbed their attention like that. He looked like one of them. And pro tip, by the way, if you're running ads on Meta, we like doing 9x16s. We also do 4x5 sometimes too. We'll do 4x5s with no banner and 4x5s with a banner sometimes at the top with some text. And the key contents, if we're doing a 9x16, is basically within a 1x1 frame, so it looks good on all feed placements. So like creator and stuff is fitting there, the text is fitting there, some like key elements are fitting within that 1x1 frame within the 9x16. So that's a little key thing. Now, component number 3 is the actual funnel and conversion mechanism. Now, a lot of people pair the wrong conversion mechanism and funnel type with the wrong offer, okay? So it's just like a mismatch all the way around. And they continuously just fight an uphill battle and say, you know, my ads don't work. When in reality, if they just switched funnel types and conversion mechanisms or tested a new one, it would unlock huge growth and fast for them. So here are some different types of conversion mechanisms. So we have webinar funnels, live and evergreen. I love live though. VSL call funnels with an opt-in, no opt-in. I prefer no opt-in. Application funnel, quiz funnel, lead magnet funnel, low ticket ascension funnel, high velocity opt-in funnel, challenge funnel, you got free or paid. So you may be running a VSL call funnel right now, or may want to start running one right now. When in reality, if you ran a webinar funnel, you would have a way higher ROAS and easier closes. Not all the time. I'm not saying that all the time, okay? I'm just using this as an example. A lot of you, by the way, should just default to a call funnel. Like I say here, majority of the time when we step into a new deal in a new company, I think, can I make a call funnel work? It's the easiest funnel to make work. So if I step into a new deal, I'm like, can we make a call funnel work? Yes or no? If it's yes, we do that. If it's no, I need clear reasons why not. I try to make a call funnel work unless, again, I have previous data on another conversion mechanism that has worked better on the account, or I have a complex offer that requires more education before a conversion point, okay? So like some sort of really new offer, or a lot of the times like a high ticket like e-com product, like something like $1,000 plus can work really well using like a live webinar or something like that. And then there's other like complex info product offers that work really good on like live webinars too, or different other things like challenges and stuff like that. So if people need a lot of education and you've tried doing like a lot of the things that I talk about on this channel, where we do some education in the ad and the funnel and on the back end after somebody books on in with our sales process optimizations and everything, and it's like not working, then you can test a different conversion mechanism if you want. But you know, if you're just selling like how to day trade and stuff like that, like call funnels, they rip, right? It's people understand what day trading is, or how to fix and flip a house. Like people understand that. There's other times too where we will layer on 2 conversion mechanisms at higher spend levels as kind of like a hedge, because basically the way I like look at ads, it's kind of like you're a money manager. So if I can kind of hedge my bets a little bit more and have like 2 conversion mechanisms running at once, sometimes even 3, then awesome. But I'm not going to spread my budget too thin and my sales team too thin that we're working with, and also like the fulfillment, I won't spread that too thin, because like if you have a low ticket offer, you got to also like fulfill on that low ticket offer and make sure people are activating that and ascending. Plus, if you're doing a call funnel, of course, like that's just going right into the core offer. So multiple conversion mechanisms can work as like a scaling strategy and a hedge as you have like really high spend, especially if you're hitting a certain wall with like a call funnel, for example, and you've tried a ton of stuff to get past it. Maybe that next conversion mechanism is something that you need to just boost up your overall revenue, because some people convert differently on different conversion mechanisms. So like me, for example, I never watch webinars ever. I only convert on call funnels. I know some guys that only convert on webinars and like challenges and never convert on call funnels. So that's just another quick note, as multiple conversion mechanisms can be used as a scaling strategy and also as a risk mitigation strategy, especially as you're at higher spend levels. So, you know, which conversion mechanism you choose, again, I try to default always to call funnels because they're the easiest to make work, especially if you're new. Don't jump into a challenge funnel. If you don't have a lot of money, don't jump into that. Same with a webinar, don't jump into that. Or low ticket. All you guys love low ticket to like jump into it when you have like $50 to spend on ads every single day because you're like, oh, it's gonna liquidate my spend. It's like, dog, you don't even have much money to like put into this thing. So like, trust me, low ticket is not the first thing you should start with. Call funnel. If you can make call funnel work, go for it. So the conversion mechanism and funnel type that you choose all depends on your TAM, so total addressable market, your sales ability, your sales team size, your market sophistication, and your offer sophistication. Your landing pages also, by the way, in your funnel should be nicely custom branded, not looking like a scam. Sometimes you guys show me your thing and I'm like, if you just paid a designer like $500, this would look so much better and convert so much better because it doesn't look like a scam and it would actually be responsive and clean. It should be fast and responsive on all devices, especially mobile. Again, some of you guys show me your landers and it's like, I don't know what the heck went on in mobile. It's like a bomb went off on mobile. I don't know what you did with it, but just make sure it's clean on mobile. Have a clear and concise headline. All key elements should be above the fold. So when you first land on the page, everything from like the button up to the logo should be right there. So the headline, the subheadline, if you have it, the VSL, the button, you know, the CTA, that should all be above the fold right when you land. You shouldn't have to scroll to see that stuff. So social proof, should be all on the page if you have it. Like if you click the link down in the description below, you're gonna see our full landing page that breaks down our entire offer. We have 2 offers. So we have our Inner Circle program offer, which is a consulting offer. And then we also have just our done for you services offer. You can check that out down in the description below. Both of those pages are nice, clean, custom branded. They're fast and responsive on every device you try it on. They have a clear and concise headline that tells you exactly what the heck the offer is, the outcome, and all that stuff. It has all the key elements. They have a nice, clear, and concise headline on both of them that articulates the offer and the outcomes of the offer. All the key elements are above the fold, and there's just a ridiculous amount of social proof. Like you have to scroll for miles on these things, man. And also, as you scroll down the page too, you can quickly pick up on key elements and understand what the page is about. So like I call it the scroll test. If you're just scrolling leisurely through a page, you should be able to quickly look at headlines and different images and bullet points and underlined elements and highlighted and bold elements to quickly pick up key elements along the page, key concepts, and just understand a lot about the offer from just scrolling like this. You know, everyone's not gonna sit there and read every single word. They're probably just gonna land on the page, scroll real quick and go, scan it. They're gonna scan like this. So if they can scan the page and pick up key concepts about your offer, key benefits, key features and stuff like that, you're in a great position. So try that. And now component number 4 of a complete ad system is sales process optimizations. Now I have a full video on this page that's all about show rate optimization. And that video is a lot more in depth on stuff like this here, the sales process optimization. So make sure to check that out. You know, anyways, you didn't think a marketer on this video, right? We'll be talking about sales, huh? Because you think we hate each other. We really don't. So, you know, well, here's the thing. Sales and sales process optimizations is freaking important if you want to get results. You should not be a media buyer or an advertiser that does not look at the other side of things and does not focus on making optimizations to the sales process. So guess what we're gonna do here? If your sales process has leaks in it and it's not optimized, you're going to burn cash. Your sales process should be focused on these things. It should be focused on deploying pre-call trust assets with multiple different consumption methods. So some in video format. And by the way, these pre-call trust assets essentially are just resources, SOPs, guides, videos, all these different things that you send prospects that break down their objections ahead of time, answers common questions they have, sets expectations of working with you, and really just builds up overall trust and familiarity with you, your offer, and your brand. And we send them in multiple different consumption methods. So sometimes we'll offer up prospects like a text version, a video version, an audio version, and different, maybe like an SOP for one, maybe a training video for another one, and all these different things. Because personally, I like to watch videos. So if somebody sends me like a video asset before a call, I'm probably more apt to watch that than some big old document, right? But some people like to read versus watch video. So that's why as a salesperson, you should be offering up different trust assets in different consumable modes and methods. So another thing with your sales process, you should have high touch points before sales calls, so 5+ per prospect. You should have value dense communication before the actual sales call occurs, trying to really understand the questions that could prevent this person from showing up in the first place and also showing up warm if they do show up, and also the objections that they have ahead of time, so you can really just get out in front of those and warm them up further before the sales call. So you're not just plagued with those in the sales call. Then you should also have real human interaction. So we're not just using lazy as heck bots, right? We had one client that kept complaining about like, oh, my email deliverability is like not there and stuff. So I have bad show rates. Then I asked him if he was actually like calling any of the freaking leads or texting them before the sales call. He's like, no. What the hell? Marketing automation is not what you only should rely on. It's nice to have back-end email flows and content remarketing and stuff like that, but you should have these manual sales processes in place as well, like texting the freaking leads in a human way and also dialing them. And I have a full 50-page SOP on pre-call sales and our different pre-call sales process to warm up prospects before an actual sales call. So all of our sales process optimizations, different text scripts, call scripts, follow-up cadence, everything, I give that to all of our clients and also everybody in our Inner Circle program. So if you want those, links down in the description below. And we also have a ton of other stuff that's awesome in that group. And we also, again, do all this done for you with our clients. So you should also, by the way, in your sales process, have wide call slot availability. The wider the availability, the lower your effective cost per call essentially will be. There's more convenient slots for the next prospect to book in on. And if you tie all of these things together, okay, you're gonna have higher show rates and better close rates and also faster cash collected. So you can funnel it back into ads quicker. Now, component 4 is the media buying strategy. So AKA like what buttons to press in the ads manager. And look, I'm gonna level with you here, okay? I hate poor people and bad leads, okay? I forgot I kind of put this in here. It's kind of funny. But anyways, yeah, your leads, right? So they waste your time, they waste your money, waste your energy, and they crush your ROAS. So how do we get rid of them? With the right media buying practices and funnel strategies in place. So we really focus on pixel conditioning. So here's the thing, Meta is a big machine learning platform. So it optimizes your ad campaigns based upon the data or the people that you feed back into it. So we only want to feed qualified prospects back into the ad platform and clean data. Ideally, data from our CRM that's super clean, like SQL data, purchasers that are qualified, and at the very least, like marked qualified sales calls, or just use the conversion API to feed in people that booked in calls initially. So like if you're just starting out, do that. Filter them through an actual Typeform application and feed in people that booked in a call through the conversion API. And then from there, as you want to dial in more and more quality, sure, you can obviously fix the messaging on the front end, your ads, to speak to more affluent qualified people. That's like the biggest lever. But then also you can make your form more rigid to add some more friction to only get qualified people through and filter people out better through the form. And then also a step further from that is, you know, if your actual salespeople speak to somebody on the phone and mark them as qualified, that can fire through the conversion API back into the ad platform. You can optimize around that only. So there's different tiers of how to slide quality and increase quality. But again, we only essentially just want to report qualified prospects back to the ad platform and clean data. So we do this by, again, adding honeypot questions to our applications or our lead forms to segment out bad leads, and we don't want bad leads and poor people to ever hit our pixel. We also want to use specific messaging and again, call outs in our actual ads that target the people we want to target. We want to use solutions, again, like the conversion API to only report back qualified data and clean data from our CRM into the ad account. We want to use the right targeting best practices, which again is pretty much just the creative nowadays. So your funnel and ad system should prevent bad leads from ever hitting your standard event code and your pixel and reporting back to the ad platform as a conversion. In terms of media buying and campaign structure, here's what we typically do. So right now, we're running with ABO lately. We'll do 1 to 3 ad sets. So we'll go broad, intra-stack. This is a cold intra-stack, and lookalike. So we only do lookalike if we have like suffice data. Then we'll do about 10 to 30 ads in each ad set. These are gonna be the same ads in each ad set. So essentially, of course, we're testing the individual creatives themselves, but we're also testing, you know, the actual ad sets or the audiences within the ad sets. And we'll have 3 to 5 headlines. We'll have 3 to 5 pieces of body copy. So we'll do like 1 long, 1 medium, 1 short, and then mix like 2 other medium ones in there if we're doing 5. And again, same headline, same body copy, same ads in each ad set. We toggle off dynamic creative. So this is something that changed from my last video that I put out on my channel. We toggle off dynamic creative. There's a lot of weird garbage going on there, and we turn off all the enhancements that Meta tries to force down your throat on all the videos and statics that you put on the account. So we turn all that garbage off. And then simply, if we find a winner, we just scale it, right? So like maybe this ad set here with these ads is just winning, so we just scale it up. Once it fatigues, we just refresh the creatives. And by refreshing the creatives, you just duplicate out the ad set and you essentially just pull out the ones that fatigued, so all the ads, put new ones in, publish it, and let it go. Sometimes we'll relaunch the campaign if we need to basically just reset the overall machine learning model that is the campaign. Sometimes, again, we'll do that if we just keep launching a new ad set within the same ABO. We're just like not getting good results from it. Sometimes we'll just relaunch the whole campaign with fresh creatives, but most of the time, we're just living in the same ABO right now, and we're just launching a new ad set with new creatives every time we basically hit a fatigue point on the initial ads that we were running. So again, if essentially you launch ads, right, and they work, you just scale them, then they're gonna fatigue. Once they start to fatigue, you just duplicate out that ad set, do a creative refresh, so you pull out the ones that fatigued, put new ads in there, let it go. And then, you know, if essentially you launch ads and they just don't work right out of the gate, then we either launch new ads or we run some sort of bottleneck analysis. And there's a whole video training on my YouTube about how to run a bottleneck analysis. But basically, you'll just look at what the bottleneck is in your funnel, and then you say, oh, okay, it's actually my application rate sucked, so I'm gonna go CRO the funnel, and then I'll just keep these ads running. I'm gonna CRO the funnel, see if that fixes it. Okay, cool, that fixed it. Okay, awesome. Then I scale again, or oh, that didn't fix it, so maybe it was the ads. let me then just launch new ads, right? So that's something to consider. And then sometimes we do this too. So after a campaign fatigues, again, the best practice is to duplicate that ad set, or if you're running CBO, just like duplicate the campaign. Basically, we'll duplicate the ad set in like an ABO, pull out the creatives or the ads that fatigued and put new ones in there. That's like best practice. But sometimes what we'll do is we'll pull out the fatigued ads that got the most spend and then run the remaining ones that got like zero spend or very little reach at all for a few days to maybe test those and see if like Meta just kind of skipped them. But most of the time when Meta doesn't spend on something, we've noticed that it just wasn't a good creative in Meta's eyes, so it's not going to scale in that structure anyways. So again, this doesn't have the best hit rate, but it does pan out sometimes if we don't have like a lot of creatives on reserve, which by the way, we always love to have a massive amount of creatives on reserve. Sometimes clients just don't get us the creatives we need, even though we just beg them for it sometimes, or like a UGC creative is taking a while or something like that, or they just fatigue way faster and we're in the process of editing stuff right now, creating some new ads, so we just want to run this sometimes as a test. And like I said, sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't, but I would not lean on this. I would not do this every time you hit fatigue. Do not do that. You want to just creative refresh, okay? That's the key part. So, and at the end of the day though, just make better ads like I talked about before and you will scale. So focus on just making better ads, better visuals, better messaging, better themes, okay? Hypercontextual ads. So now mistake number 2. That was all mistake number 1, guys. We still got mistake 2 and 3. So I told you it's gonna be a long one and a bunch of sauce in here. So mistake number 2 of why your ads aren't scaling, or mistake number 2 you can make if you're just starting to launch ads, so avoid this at all costs, is you don't warm up prospects properly before sales calls. And again, check out the show rates video. There's a ton of stuff on that that really goes in even more detail than this. So what's the, the secret sauce to making ads work, right? Well, first off, again, it is the creative and the offer, okay? But good question here. So we had a client who was in the financial coaching space, and I told you this stuff works, that we run all of our processes on a wide variety of niches, right? So we worked on a lot of niches, 50 plus niches at this point. And as you can expect, to get a stranger to fork over $5,000 to $15,000 from a Facebook ad for a program to learn how to day trade is a tough job, okay? There's a lot of trust building, educating, and relationship building that has to go into that before someone transacts, especially in that space. There's a lot of scammers. So their leads before we installed this system would hardly show up to sales calls, all right? And if they did, they would show up confused, cold, guarded, slinging out objections, and just price shopping, leading to an abysmal, at that time, 33% show rate and a 3.7% close rate. It was terrible. So they did not have a marketing or sales problem, they had a trust problem. And everyone's talking about this whole trust recession thing. And look, yes, I think there is an element of trust recession. I also think a lot of the buyers in today's market are very sophisticated. They've seen a lot of offers, so you kind of have to stand out and put more effort into your pre-call sales nurture process and just like your overall sales process in general. Keep that in mind. But what did we do? We essentially installed our KLT trust building system into their campaigns, and their results shot through the roof. So much that we got a cool award for it. The screenshot is literally right here, 1.2 million bucks. The award's right behind me too, and I'll show you why that is in a second. So now remember, prospects only buy from people they know, like, and trust. So knowing that, we need a system that actually builds trust at scale automatically with cold leads from ads. And we do that by naturally forcing them to consume a high volume of strategic content before the sales call or the purchase point. And this also goes for if you're running a webinar funnel or a challenge funnel. You can implement all of these things before the webinar and before the challenge to warm people up and drive show rates to those as well. So this is not just for call funnels, but we essentially want to serve prospects content in multiple different formats rapidly before sales calls or webinars or challenges to educate them, inform them, and pre-frame them. And we do that in 2 different ways: email and SMS flows that are actually value dense in organic content remarketing campaigns. So first is we send a high volume of value dense emails and texts to our prospects in the days and hours leading up to the call, not just bland case studies and flexing, by the way. And we serve them high volumes of organic content naturally in feed. No, we're not spamming them with it and telling them to watch it. We're not just like spamming them short form and long form content and saying, hey, watch it guys, or watch the VSL or we're gonna cancel the call. We're not doing that garbage before the sales call. or the webinar or the challenge. These emails, text, and pieces of content pre-handle objections, pre-frame prospects, educate them, and build up familiarity. We accumulate trust and real estate in their mind before the actual sales call. So they show up warm to sales calls and ready to buy, or warm to webinars, ready to listen to you, warm to challenges, ready to listen to you and buy. Not cold, confused, guarded. Okay, that's the key part. This is pretty cool. Now, what type of content can you create? What should you talk about in your emails? Basically, here's a list. So common questions you get, not softball questions too, like actual common questions that you actually feel afraid to answer and break down to a cold prospect. Your top sales objections that your team gets plagued with, breakdowns of past results, not just bland interviews. So if you have a case study, like actually break down the strategy behind it, right? Like that's why I have a bunch of videos on my YouTube where I go into ad accounts to show like, yo, we actually do this stuff on a daily basis. Here's the results behind it. Financial models is a great one. I love doing that. So like I'll send that out as an asset in a video before sales calls, and an email, and also in the sales process showing, hey, I don't want you to trust me. I want you to trust math, okay? Here's an underperforming, an average, and an overperforming scenario of what could essentially occur if you use our ad system in our process. Love doing that. Also, expectations of using your product or service. So like how much time does it take? What does it involve with me? Like we get a lot of questions like, all right, how long do I have to film ads? Do I need some like fancy studio? Do I need a fancy camera? Can I just use a selfie video? How many calls am I gonna get? All this stuff like that. Do I need a sales team, right? All these different questions people have, and expectations for the time and money investment that they're gonna need after they transact with you. That's what you wanna break down here inside of the text, emails, and content. Then also, if you have like a grand opportunity that's surrounding your offer, talk about it, right? Like AI, or if you're in the crypto space or something like that. There's so much stuff going on right now with like Trump and crypto and all that. You can weave that into some emails to drive that true urgency. We wanna pull that real urgent reasons why somebody needs to get started with you. We wanna pull that into these text emails. Also your ads too, but also the back-end content and your sales process, all right? Then we want explainer videos and valuable content, right? So if you have some like cool explainer videos about your process and just overall valuable content that you can give to people, you want to have that. Third-party data that supports your offer. So if you have like a study done on your offer or something like that, slap it in there. That does really good. Just like when we were going over a couple of those examples with like the protein powder earlier, if you have like a third-party study that was done on your protein powder, say, hey, the absorption rate of the protein's awesome, super clean ingredients, no red 40 and yellow 5 or whatever, and microplastics and seed oils, and none of that in here. Here's a third-party study. That's awesome to do. We have some accounting guys that will literally go through and search through the IRS records live on a video and show their audit rate. You can actually do that. So like we have some CPA clients that are like, hey, you can literally go and search your accountant on this website and check out their audit rate. So I'm gonna go and search my name and my partner's name right here, and you can see our audit rate. That's pretty dope. So that's a great one that like builds so much trust. Is another thing where it's like, hey, I'm gonna go and search my name on Google right now or in ChatGPT and show you what comes up, and we're gonna talk about it. Another one is like if you have negative reviews online, negative Reddit threads, you should make a video addressing those ones. That works super well, and like just explain the situation in those threads and just really like help people do research on you, your offer, and your company. That's the main thing. People are gonna go research you, so you better have an influence on that research process in your own right. So look yourself up online, look how you're presented online, look if there's any negative stuff or misconstruing stuff or things that can get twisted, and address those. And also like DIY tutorials work really good too. So like I send out stuff like this to prospects before the actual calls to show them, hey, I know my shit, okay, transparently. So you then craft all of these things into emails and send them to prospects before the call using marketing automations. These are also different assets that you can deploy your sales team with for them to manually fire them out to prospects through email, call, text, social reach outs, and DMs and stuff like that too. And then also you can create organic content around these pillars and serve that content naturally in feed to prospects that just booked in a call or opted in, purchased a challenge ticket, or opted in to see a webinar. You add them to a custom audience and hit them with this content naturally in feed, short form and long form content. I have a whole SOP that I give all of our Inner Circle students. Again, links down in the description below. That SOP shows them how to do this and deeper, and it also gives them way deeper explanations on what type of content to make. Also some AI models that helps them come up with that content. And of course, we do this all done for you if you're one of our agency clients. All of this firing at once with the sales process optimizations, the right messaging on the front end, the right pixel conditioning, all of this right here makes ads work, okay? And all of this stuff that we just talked about in this section, when it's all firing at once, it pushes leads further down the sales journey and makes them more warm and familiar with your offer, brand, and solution. So paid ads feel like they came from a referral or organic content. That's the key. And then mistake number 3, guys. We're on number 3. All right, here we go. Thanks for hanging with me. Some great stuff. Glad you're here. If you're still listening, let's keep rocking. Drop me a fire emoji down in the comments below if you're still watching at mistake number 3. You're a true freaking baller. We're gonna get into some killer stuff. Drop a fire emoji down below so I know to give you a like, and I know you're a real G and you actually want to make ads work. So this is a fun one right here. Mistake number 3 is you don't know how to scale intelligently and solve bottlenecks. And by the way, if you're watching at mistake number 3, message me on Twitter, pancake @EvanSeach, and I'm gonna send you a financial model that only people in my inner circle have. It's a full document. Only people in my program have it. People pay me upwards of, right now, the minimum is $2.5K a month to get in. So if you send me the message pancake on Twitter, just @EvanSeach, I will send you that model so I know if you're listening. Anyways, you don't know how to scale intelligently and solve strategic bottlenecks. That is mistake number 3, preventing you from scaling ads, or a mistake that could prevent you from scaling ads if you haven't ran them yet. So most of the time when people run ads, they don't know how to scale properly, okay? Scaling literally just means increasing your budget and solving sales or marketing problems, aka bottlenecks, as they pop up. And a lot of advertisers just fix random things, okay? They just run random split tests and try to optimize things without knowing if that's the actual thing or bottleneck that needs solving right now. And just to be very clear, I do not spend more than 2 hours a week in any ad account, even the ones that we spend 5K a day plus on. Why? Because I have a call every single Monday with my COO, Cam, and we follow our bottleneck breaking protocol per campaign and per client. And on this call, this bottleneck breaking call, we do 2 things. We, 1, look at our financial model per funnel or per campaign, and 2, we look at how the current funnel stats compare to the model. So again, message me pancake if you're listening to this @EvanSeach on Twitter, and I'll actually send you the financial model I'm gonna show you. And here's the thing, financial models, you say, sounds pretty good, right? They are good, if you know how to use them. Before you launch any campaign, you have to model out an underperforming, an average, and an overperforming scenario for performance. So again, we do that with a financial model that looks like this. So you need to have clear expectations before you actually go in and launch an account. We do this on every single funnel before you launch it. So we fill out 3 simulations to definitively see how much we can make with the ad system we have and fill out the actual section per funnel. So basically what we do beforehand, right, we make this underperforming, average, and overperforming scenarios. So you basically know like what the lower range of the results should be versus the upper range of the results, and the average range of the results should be with this funnel type and our current ad spend and the offer price and everything like that. And then what we do when we're running the ads is we just fill this out on a weekly basis, this actual, and match it up with a certain stage. And basically with all these stats filled out, we can spot our bottleneck. So, you know, if like all the front half here, if we fill this out and all this stuff is in like the overperforming category, but like maybe the application rate is super low and it's in like the underperforming, but everything else down here is like solid, then all right, we know it's the application rate. So this like allows us to visually see these different metrics and KPIs as we scale. So we know what bottlenecks to solve. Real quick, listen to me very carefully about what we do next. After, you know, we fill out the model, we know what to expect on the low end, average end, and overperforming end, and we start filling out some stats every single week in that actual column. This is what we do next. Because if you do not do this, you do not listen to me here, you're gonna fill your week doing random monkey tasks that do not drive any revenue, hurt your ads, and cause mental stress, a ton of mental stress, trust me. We then compare the current stats, like I was talking to the financial model, okay? And find what metric is easiest to 2x to 4x plus this week. We then make a plan for the week to only solve that bottleneck. So what is the easiest thing to 2x to 4x at this given point? That's the bottleneck. That's the choke point in your funnel, preventing you from scaling. You know, if your show rate sucks, we make a plan to fix that. If the application rate sucks, make a plan to fix that. And also make sure to take ROAS into account. If your ads are making money and your ROAS is at a 3x plus or whatever, don't make drastic changes, just minor optimizations to unlock some more incremental scale. That's it. Don't make some massive changes, because guess what? If it's printing, just chuck money into that thing. Don't mess with the system when it's working. Scale it. If the ads though are not making money, we find the bottleneck and we solve that bottleneck viciously. So basically, if the application rate's the issue, we look at all the things that could impact our application rate, like for example, the page responsiveness, the headline, the congruency with the ads, the type of ads we're running, the messaging in the ads and how people show up frame the page. Maybe the UI isn't good on the page. Maybe there's some sort of question that's causing a lot of people to drop off on the type form in the application. So maybe we can rework that question, right? You just drill into what makes up that main metric that's jacked up in your funnel, and then make a plan and say, oh, okay, yeah, we have a lot of drop off on question number 2 in the type form. Let's try and change that up and run that as a test and see if that fixes the application rate. You could launch more aggressive and drastic tests in this situation though when your ads are not making money. So data though equals clarity. Okay, so I want to track data. And we did a simple analysis, for example, on our client George's funnel, and we saw his cost per opt-in. So he had an opt-in before his VSL page. We saw his cost per opt-in was $110. That's what we kind of wanted the cost per call to be. And this was inflating his cost per call massively. So all we did was we removed the opt-in before his VSL page, and his cost per call dropped by 67%. That case study is on this page as well. Thumbnail looks like that. Video is going to be popping up here for you. But high opt-in cost was his bottleneck. So we launched a test to solve it. It worked, and we kept it. So we got rid of the opt-in page, and we just kept it as is because we identified that the opt-in page and the opt-in rate and the cost per opt-in was a bottleneck in getting people to actually schedule calls. So we launched a test, and just removing the actual opt-in page, it worked, so we kept it like that. And so that is the full training. Now this was well over an hour, so I appreciate y'all that stayed with me here. If you want to work with us in much more detail, we have a couple different offers. We have our Inner Circle offer, and if you thought this was sauce, just wait till you see what's inside of the training modules and inside of all the weekly coaching calls that we do. We do 3 per week. You also get 2 one-on-one calls with me in a private Slack channel every single month. So definitely check that out. Links down in the description below if you want me to personally mentor you and consult you and advise you on your ad account, scaling your company, info product, agency, real estate fund, whatever you run, I can help you on out. And also, if you just want us to run your ads for you, make the funnels, and really scale up your ads without you lifting a finger, the link's down in the description below on our agency services offer. And if you have any questions whatsoever, comment it down below. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at EvanSeach, and I'll see you on the next video. But also make sure to check out this show rates video right here, which is going to help you a lot. Check it out. Peace.